in Zambia, connecting you newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. The Zambian Civil Liberties Union condemns the rising wave of political cadre violence. The Energy Regulation Board approves 29 license applications. And U.S. military officials in Kyiv as Europe once again has reported Russia peace plan. This bulletin is live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and live on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie Banda. The Zambian Civil Liberties Union has condemned the rising wave of political cadre violence, warning that recent incidents threaten the country's image as a peaceful democracy. Zambian Civil Liberties Union Acting Executive Director Derek Chekwe highlighted the stoning of President Hakainde Hichilema in Chingola, allegedly by small-scale miners, and the reported retaliatory attacks said to involve UPND cadres. Mr. Chekwe also raised concern over the slow handling of the abduction case of PF supporter Black Apple, saying delays in bringing the matter to court have fueled public doubts about impartial footage of former cabinet minister Given Louis days after violence at the PF secretary incidents as signs of cadreism resurface. He is therefore calling for decisive, non-partisan action from the police and urging political parties to promote peaceful, issue-based politics ahead of the 2026 general elections.
Developments are not only dangerous but undermine Zambia's long-standing reputation as a peaceful democracy. The CLU is particularly disturbed by the continued failure of law enforcement agencies to respond swiftly and uniformly to acts of political violence. The slow pace in apprehending the abductors of Black Apple, a non-PF supporter, and the delayed progression of this matter to the courts has raised legitimate public concerns regarding the impartiality and efficiency of law enforcement operations.
In the meantime, the Zambian National Women's Lobby has expressed deep concern over rising political tensions in the country, warning that the recent surge in violence is discouraging women from participating in politics. In a statement, organization acting executive director Gordon Nachibunga cited several incidents, including the stoning of President Hakainde Hichilema's motorcade in Chingola, clashes at the PF Secretariat, threats issued by UPND official Obvious Mwaliteta, and the alleged assault of former cabinet minister Given Lubinda. He says such acts of aggression create a climate of fear, one that disproportionately affects women who already face harassment, intimidation, and safety concerns when engaging in politics. Mr. Nachibinga is since calling for full and impartial investigation into all reported incidents and is urging political leaders to tone down inflammatory rhetoric and promote peace and dialogue. He added that it says a safe and inclusive political environment is essential for national development and for ensuring women can participate freely and with dignity. Vice President Mtalena Lumango has officially opened the third International Conference on Health and Allied Sciences in Lusaka, calling for stronger collaboration between medicine, public health, technology, and management to improve healthcare delivery. Speaking at the event hosted by Texila American University Zambia, Dr. Nalumango said Zambia's development depends on a resilient health system that embraces innovation and digital transformation. She highlighted government's efforts to strengthen digital health systems through the National E-Governance Plan and partnerships with Smart Zambia and the Ministry of Health. The Vice President also reaffirmed government's commitment to reducing maternal and newborn deaths, saying the loss of over 1,000 lives annually is unacceptable. She urged researchers, universities, and health professionals to produce solutions that directly improve patient care, especially for rural communities. Dr. Nalumango encouraged delegates to use the conference to build partnerships and drive innovation before declaring the conference officially open. The Energy Regulation Board (DRB) has approved a fresh wave of investments in Zambia's energy sector, signaling growing confidence from both local and international players. At its latest licensing committee meeting held on November 14th, the ERB cleared 29 license applications and 12 construction permits across the petroleum, electricity, and renewable energy subsectors. According to the board, the approval represents a combined investment pledge of 6 billion kwacha, or about 266 million United States dollars. Namukolo Kasumpa, manager of public relations at the Energy Regulation Board, says these new licenses include approvals for the manufacture and installation of renewable energy equipment, the transport and distribution of petroleum products, as well as the importation and distribution of LPG and lubricants. Mrs. Kasumpa says the ERB Mrs. Kasumpa says the ERB Rather, she says these additions will support energy availability and expand access to modern energy services nationwide. She added that on the infrastructure front, two major solar projects have been given the green light. She says Gisco Energy Corporation will develop two 110 megawatt solar plants in Chirundu and Siavonga worth an estimated $190 million. And Global Kafue Solar Limited is set to construct a 56 megawatt solar plant in Kafue district, a project valued at $54 million.
At its meeting held on 14th November, the ERB Licensing Committee reviewed and approved the application, displaying continued investor interest in Zambia's energy sector. Two major construction permits were approved in the electricity and renewable subsectors. Jigsaw Energy Corporation Limited, which is a 110 megawatt PV solar plant in Chirundu and Siavonga districts, with a combined estimated investment of $190 million. Global Lake Kafue Solar Limited also has a proposed 56 megawatt solar PV plant in Kafue district with an estimated $54 million.
And in other news trending this evening, United Party for National Development media team member Cosmas Chilishe has called on law enforcement agencies to take action against individuals allegedly involved in the reported abduction of Mr. Given Lubinda in Kabwe. The Minister for Energy Makoso Chikote has officially opened the new Grenco Lusaka head office and trading center, a facility he says represents a major step forward in Zambia's renewable energy future. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
Zambia has signed its third bilateral agreement under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, partnering with Switzerland to advance international carbon market cooperation. The deal, formalized at COP30 with support from the SPA-6C program, follows agreements Zambia reached with Norway and Sweden at COP29. Minister of Green Economy and Environment Mike Mposha said the agreement will unlock investment for high-quality climate mitigation projects and support Zambia's progress toward its climate and sustainable development goals. Switzerland DTEC Minister Albert Rosti said the partnership will help Switzerland meet its emissions reduction targets through projects that uphold strict environmental and human rights standards. The agreement also sets the stage for negotiating a mitigation outcome purchase agreement MOPA, enabling the transfer of internationally transferred mitigations outcomes ITMOS. Ends the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And in foreign news, senior Pentagon officials have arrived in Ukraine to discuss efforts to end the war with Russia, the U.S. military has said. The team, led by U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, held talks with Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Svyridenko on Thursday morning. They are expected to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky later in the day. Reports began surfacing on Wednesday that the U.S. and Russia had prepared a new proposed framework to end the war, requiring major concessions from Ukraine, including giving up territory and dramatically shrinking its military. It was reportedly drafted by President Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff and Russian Special Envoy Kirill Dmitriev. And in sports news, the Football Association of Zambia FAS has announced that Polo coach Moses Sichone and video analyst Elias Chipota have been discharged from St. George Private Hospital in Port Elizabeth, where they were admitted for suspected food poisoning. FAS General Secretary Shipande says the duo were discharged yesterday morning and they were expected to fly back. Apologies for that. The evening weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chineka Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
The evening is mainly cloudy, slightly windy, and mild with isolated rain. Ends our weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chineka Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
That weather item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. The Zambian Civil Liberties Union has condemned the rising wave of political cadre violence, warning that recent incidents threaten the country's image as a peaceful democracy. The Energy Regulation Board has approved a fresh wave of investments in Zambia's energy sector, signaling growing confidence from both local and international players. And finally, senior Pentagon officials have arrived in Ukraine to discuss efforts to end the war with Russia, the US military has said. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the happy world of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie Banda. Enjoy the rest of the evening.